All right. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Oh. It's been a long day today. A long day at work. Hope everybody's doing okay. Hope everything is going good. We're not doing music stuff tonight, as you can tell by the title and everything. We are going to play some MTG. Not Marjorie Taylor Greene. Magic the Gathering. While we watched this first interview that I don't know if you guys know who Joe Kent is, but he just resigned as the head of the counterterrorism program, or director of counterterrorism, over the Iran war stuff, and you know we hate the Iran war. So we're gonna just listen to it. We're not gonna listen to much of the Tucker stuff, but we are gonna listen to it. We're gonna hang out and we're gonna So that's what we're doing tonight. Let me go ahead and throw on some music a little bit here. Just real low, nothing too crazy. Dun, 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 dun. Let's turn that down a little bit. Just nice, good background music, you know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Oh, and you know, before we get started, I do want to appreciate you guys for this. Let me move this over here. My SoundCloud is now at 14,000. Look at that. The full 14 in 30 days. Actually, it's in, well, it's the, what's today? The 18th. So in 20 days, give or take, 27 days probably about, which is pretty dope, actually. Feel pretty good about that. So anyway, I just want to say thank you guys for checking those things out. But let's go ahead and we'll hop into this. I'm gonna play it down in the bottom corner just because we're gonna be playing some games. We're not gonna be doing the whole time is just listening to him. But we are gonna stop and pause and do some deep dives as we, you know what I mean, listen. So let's see how this interview goes, huh? Let's see here.
From January of 2024. This is from this show, and this is Joe Kent, who later went on to become, until yesterday, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center. Here
skip all this.
What do you think the immediate and then longer term effects of a war with Iran would be?
Let's just go ahead and skip to
Listen,
this part.
it's called Connect Team, and it's insane.
whatever.
I don't do schedules or timesheets manually anymore.
At a work yourself. Here's
go.
Joe Kent. Joe, thanks a lot for joining us. So I appreciate this. So I want to go through the letter that you sent yesterday as you resigned as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, and basically through the big points and give you a chance to explain them. You've been spoken for quite a bit over the last 24 hours, so I think it'd be really helpful to all of us if you would speak for yourself and flesh out some of these points. I'm just going to read the first one. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. How did you reach that conclusion?
I think this is key. I mean, this would be more challenging to explain had the Secretary of State, the President, and the Speaker of the House not come out and said that we conducted this attack at this time because the Israelis were about to do so. So that takes away the argument that there was an imminent threat, as in Iran was planning to attack us immediately. That just simply did not exist.
May I ask you to pause? Sure. And so I've heard people say that, and this just happened, but history has a way of getting rewritten in real time, and then you look back 10 or 15, 20, 25 years later, and no one seems to understand the things that you saw because they've been eliminated. Yeah. So I think it's important to stop and say, here's what we actually know. So I'd like now, if we could, just to play one of the statements that you alluded to, and that's from Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, and this was shortly after this war commenced. And he was explaining as is his habit, in a thoughtful, precise way.
Yep.
Why? Here's Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act.
Okay, so that is his almost contemporaneous explanation, and it's not offhand. He reasons it out. He explains there's a logic chain there, and he says, we knew not that Iran was going to attack. He did not say that.
Right.
He said we knew that Israel was going to attack Iran, and in retaliation for those attacks by Israel against Iran, Iran might attack American forces. So the imminent threat that the Secretary of State is describing is not from Iran, it's from Israel.
Exactly. And I think this speaks to the broader issue. Who is in charge of our policy in the Middle East? Who's in charge of when we decide to go to war or not? In this case, with what the Secretary described, and later on the President, later on the Speaker of the House, and the way the events played out, the Israelis drove the decision to take this action, which we knew would set off a series of events, meaning the Iranians would retaliate. Now, I think there's a potential there where we could have done several different things. We could have simply said to the Israelis, no, you will not. And if you do, then we will take something away from you. I think that it's fine that we offer defense to Israel, but when we're providing the means for their defense, we get to dictate the terms of when they go on the offensive. Otherwise, they stand to lose that relationship. And the Israelis felt emboldened that no matter what they did, no matter what situation they put us in, that they could go ahead and take this action, and we would just have to react. And so that speaks to that relationship. But also, it just shows that there was a lobby pushing for us to go to war. I know we'll get into that later on in the statement, but we had a real potential, I think, knowing what we know of the Iranians and how they react, and in particular, how they react to President Trump's leadership. The Iranians, under President Trump's leadership, especially in his second term, they have shown that they take a very calculated approach to the escalation ladder. For instance, in the lead up to the 12-day war before Midnight Hammer, the Iranians didn't attack us. They were engaged in negotiations with us. When President Trump came back into office, they stopped their proxies who were attacking us under the Biden administration because they knew Biden was weak. They stopped their proxies from attacking us as well. So they knew President Trump was someone who wanted to negotiate, but more importantly, they knew that President Trump was not someone to mess with because he killed Qasem Soleimani. He killed Abu Mahdi Mohandas. He had defeated ISIS. They knew that President Trump was a man of action. He is militarily strong. And so they said, before we take an action, we need to make sure that it's calculated. So I think in this scenario, even if the Israelis told us we're going to strike on this date at this time, and we didn't, try to negotiate with the Israelis and say, hey, we'll take something away from them, I think we still could have back-channeled to the Iranians and said, hey, if something happens here in the next couple of days, it's not us. We're still serious about negotiations, and we don't want to escalate this because it's well known what the Iranians' plans were. We knew that they were going to hit potentially our bases in the region, potentially our allies. We knew about the Straits of Hormuz. All of these things, I think, were fairly well known.
And the Houthis' ability to close the Red Sea, which they've not yet done, but which would be catastrophic to the world.
Everybody knows somebody who has had an unexpected tragedy. You lose a parent, a spouse, and that person, to compound the tragedy, didn't have life insurance. It's bad enough what happened, then comes
Profile
rare good. Insurance. Get your instant free quote at ethos.com/Tucker. Ethos, ETHOS.com/Tucker. Application times and rates may vary, but they're good.
So, but for the purpose of explaining your position or fleshing it out more so people can understand it, because you're the most high-profile resignation by far in a long time, and there's a lot of commentary on this, and I kind of took a quick trip through it this afternoon, and one of the consistent themes is, well, I mean, of course there's a lot of slander, which we can talk about, but the substantive attack on you, and it is an attack or refutation of your letter, is that, well, actually, Joe Kent was totally for using military action. He supported the Soleimani.
Oh my God. There's too many goddamn ads.
Killing, for example. He seemed fine with the 12-day war, for example. So he doesn't have a problem on principle with an engagement with Iran. you're saying what to that? What's your response?
Well, I have no compunction about really fighting anybody who threatens our country, and the Iranians have posed a threat in the past, and the Iranians have a way of threatening America. They have the capability, and we always talk in the intelligence circles about capability
Yes.
and intent, what your enemy is capable of doing and what they actually want to do. And again, back to the data that we have on the Iranians, they used the escalation ladder. We saw that deliberately during the 12-day war. When they struck back after Midnight Hammer, it was very deliberate. They fired an equal amount of missiles as we dropped bombs on the nuclear facilities, and they basically hit a part of a base in Qatar that they knew we didn't have any troops on.
Yes.
They didn't want to escalate any further than we were willing to go. But also, the Iranians, when they pose a threat to us, they usually do it with their proxies. And if their proxies stick their heads up and their proxies come after us, this is basically the Trump doctrine, we hammer them and we hammer their high-profile leaders. Qasem Soleimani was highly effective and highly revered in Iran because the previous presidents, prior to President Trump, Obama and Bush, let Qasem Soleimani run around, raise proxy armies, kill Americans, and no one ever did anything to him. President Trump rightfully killed Qasem Soleimani. We got his deputy, Abu Mahdi Mohandas, who had American blood in his hands, took them off the battlefield. But then President Trump stopped. He took those two key players off the battlefield, and he said, I'm not going to further escalate with Iran unless you escalate with us, knowing that if we struck Iran and we truly struck the regime, that would only strengthen the regime. So then President Trump did something that's incredibly smart, used that decisive military action, but then he coupled it with an economic package of sanctions, maximum pressure sanctions. And we can debate whether or not we should be using sanctions as the prime reserve currency holder or whatever, but he pressured the Iranians economically. After punching them in the mouth and showing that, hey, I won't take this, I'm not Obama, I'm not Bush. If you cross a line, I will come after you. But then he really put the pressure on them economically. And if you look at the effect of the economic sanctions, that's what got the Iranian people on the streets actually protesting against the Ayatollah's government, which is ostensibly what we would like. We would like to see a bottom-up regime change where we get rid of the Ayatollah, but it's the will of the people, and they have a new successful government that's stable that we can deal with. The one way to throw that all out the window, and this isn't just Joe Kent's opinion, many scholars, and I think a lot of intelligence assessments have been written about this too, I know for a fact they have, is that if we struck the regime, it would only strengthen it. And that's not, I think that's just basic common sense. I mean, I think of myself, and probably you're in this camp as well. We didn't like Joe Biden, we didn't like Barack Obama, but if an outside force were to come in here and try and topple them while they were the president, I would 100% rally around the flag. That's just common sense. So if we wanted to strengthen
you actually
the Ayatollah,
did.
right.
You just joined the military under Bill Clinton,
Under
whom
Clinton,
I assume you didn't vote for.
Right.
Right, you joined in 1998. You've gone the whole cycle of the war on terror, I notice, and served out as an NCO. I think your entire
NCO and warrant officer. Yeah.
warrant officer, 20 years. And I should just say, I hate ever to refer to a man's resume as like a data point because your ideas exist separately. But in this specific case, meaning you spent most of your time fighting Iranian proxies.
Yeah, a good deal of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're aware of the threat from Iran. You have personally used violence against that threat.
I have.
Yeah. A lot of it, I think. And you supported the president's policy up until fairly recently.
Right.
And you've said that a lot in public. In fact, you went to work for him. He hired you.
Yeah.
Right. But here's from what I can tell, is the central question. Imminent threat. Now, the president has said many times to many people, including the public, Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he must have said that to you. You don't have to say it. But he said it to everybody. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. They can't have a nuke. Whenever asked, we say, let's just start here. They can't have a nuke. Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Everyone agreed with that conceptually? Was Iran on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon?
No, they weren't, 3 weeks ago when this started, and they weren't in June either. I mean, the Iranians have had a religious ruling, a fatwa, against actually developing a nuclear weapon since 2004. That's been in place since 2004. That's available in the public sphere. But then also we had no intelligence to indicate that fatwa was being disobeyed or it was on the cusp of being lifted. The Iranian strategy, it's actually pretty pragmatic. The Iranians are obviously aware of what's taking place in their region, and their strategy was to not completely abandon their nuclear program because they saw what happened to Muammar Gaddafi in Libya. When he said, "Hey, I've got no more nukes. I'll do what you say. I'll give up my nukes."
And we gave him the Nobel Peace Prize?
Yeah, we regime changed him, and he was executed by his own people in the most horrific way.
Oh, sodomized by a bayonet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's that's the lesson I think that the entire region took from that
Yeah.
when Hillary Clinton.
Unfortunately, that is what
Had
the
him killed.
neocon, neoliberal warmongers, that's the lesson that they showed everyone in the region. And then conversely, the Iranians also knew that if they came out and said, okay, we've got a nuke, whether they were bluffing or not,
Right.
Saddam Hussein, Iraq right next door. So they kind of
And
had
he
this,
hung, I think.
He was hung by his own people, after a bloody, war that's still essentially going on inside of Iraq. So the Iranians' position, when viewed from the lens of the region, was actually fairly pragmatic. They were preventing, themselves from developing a bomb, but they still wanted the ability. They wanted the ability to enrich. They wanted the ability to have some components so that they weren't completely stripped of it. And when we always assessed that they were either several months or a year, 2 years away from actually being able to develop a nuclear weapon. And that's not because the Iranians are stupid people. I think we can tell right now that the Iranians are anything but stupid. They had the ability, I think, that the brain power to actually develop one, or they could have simply traded a ton of oil with Pakistan or with someone else to actually get a nuclear weapon. They were not doing that. We had no intelligence to indicate that they were.
So there's a part in there that I actually wanted to cover a little bit. So there's people don't know what a fatwa is a lot of the time. So a fatwa is basically like it's a religious decree from the Ayatollah of
Stop paying for gum damage now and dentist bills.
Just from a religious leader, meaning an Ayatollah. Be like a bishop or whatever saying like, hey, we don't do this. And they've had a fatwa against creating nuclear weapons for years. So kill. And the other thing about fatwas that people don't understand that I think is actually really interesting is that they're only good for as long as the leader that instated it is alive or in power. So when we killed the Ayatollah Khomeini, the last one that we did a couple days ago or whatever, we killed our chances at having a non-nuclear Iran. Like at this point, they are going to be a nuclear state or a nuclear country. There's no real way around that anymore. I mean, we caused, because he was like one of the most like conservative hardline people as far as nukes are concerned. He was like, nah, we don't need to do that. We just want nuclear power and we want the benefits of nuclear energy and stuff like that and enrichment. But they have now forced the hand of his son, who now has had his wife, his dad, his daughter, and probably a couple other family members, all killed. And now they're going to his new fatwa has not I mean, he hasn't made any that said like, hey, we need to go completely to war, but I mean it's gonna be close and it's gonna happen at some point. So I just wanted to make a point on that real quick. I just was like, ugh.
Was he told that they were on the brink of it? Why, at the beginning of every conversation about Iran, would the president say, I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? Why was that the central question when, and you would know since you were the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, why would he say that if there was no intelligence or evidence that they were actually developing a nuke?
So I mean, a couple things. This is what I talk about in the letter about this ecosystem of information that's laundered through a lot of prominent neoconservative types that are very sympathetic to the Israeli cause, and then also Israeli government officials who give us things in semi-official channels. What they did was they created basically a shifting red line or a new red line. So if the president's red line was Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, we've actually got a lot of trade space in there for a deal to be made, because of what I just described with the Iranian policy. Essentially, the Iranians saying, okay, well, we don't want a nuclear weapon. Well, that means we basically are at a point where we can start negotiating and we can come up with a deal. And the president is a fantastic deal maker. So if your goal is to move us away from any kind of deal and your goal is to move us into a conflict, you have to shift that red line. And that's where a lot of this, I would say, what became a de facto U.S. policy of Iran can have no nuclear enrichment. It was laundered through a lot of the different talking heads, Mark Levin, Mark Dubowitz, you've got the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, you name it. Washington, D.C. has plenty of pro-Israeli lobbyists who will come and say those things, who will publish think pieces on it, who will go on the media, who will run, op-eds in the Wall Street Journal to talk about this, why they can't have any enrichment whatsoever. And then we have a high degree of engagement with Israeli government officials who will come in and say, well, they're enriching and they could enrich, or they could enrich more, and that will get them closer to a nuclear weapon. So then enrichment basically became the new U.S. policy. And the only official I've heard, and folks are welcome to look for this, that said this in the first Trump administration was Mike Pompeo. He said it. The president didn't say it. The president has been very consistent. He said they can't have a nuclear weapon. But again, like I said, that puts us at a place where we actually could have negotiations. And only President Trump, I think, could successfully have negotiations with Iran because he actually punched them in the face. And the Iranians had been walking all over us. They had been killing our soldiers. All of that is true. I have no sympathy whatsoever for the Iranians, what their proxies were doing. President Trump level set that when he killed Qasem Soleimani and he killed Abu Mahdi Mohandas. The folks who wanted to push an actual regime change war in Iran knew this, and they knew there was a potential to get a deal, or there was a potential for President Trump just to continue the policy of maximum pressure sanctions, and if you come after us, we will hit you hard. And that got the protesters out on the street in Iran, and that's actually what the regime feared the most. I don't think the Ayatollah feared dying, not because he, is some crazy lunatic. I'm sure some degree of the Shia martyrdom culture played a factor in that. However, I think he knew that if he was killed, the regime would survive because the people would rally around the regime.
Holy cow. The GTS Rally XL opened up a whole nother level of fun. Wow, that is really insane. The sport has helped build a lot of confidence. It's showed me what I'm actually capable of doing. It's absolutely unreal.
Oh, come on. I hate ads.
Build apps that scale. Meet Base 44.
Well, there's been a lot of noise in the news lately, but none of it matters if you can't hear it, and there's no shame in that.
Ago, I think we're watching. I mean, it's hard to know exactly what we're watching, but it seems consistent with what we are watching. So I'm just focused on this question of imminent threat because that's really the only justification I think most Americans would accept for a preemptive war.
Certainly.
Otherwise, just like a war of choice done because Bibi told you to, and no one wants to get behind that because it's obviously illegitimate. So imminent threat, you're saying that there was no intelligence that you saw with the highest level clearance, obviously involved in this conversation, that showed an imminent threat from Iran to the United States? None.
No, unless we took certain actions, unless we came after them in a way that they thought threatened the regime. Then we basically knew what they were going to do.
Well, okay, but right, of course,
right. But like any country. So if you attack any country, we know that they're going to have a reaction.
We face an imminent threat once we attack you.
Fantastic. Yeah, exactly. But there was no intelligence that said, "Hey, on whatever day it was, March 1st, the Iranians are going to launch this big sneak attack. They're going to do some kind of a 9/11 Pearl Harbor, et cetera. They're going to attack one of our bases." There was none of that intelligence. Again, back to what we know about the Iranians, they're very, very deliberate with the escalation ladder. And again, they're only deliberate under President Trump's leadership because they knew and they took President Trump very, very seriously.
So, I mean, I just think it's a remarkable thing to nail down because you're not some guy on Twitter. You're a senior, as of yesterday, you were a senior U.S. Intelligence official who's not hostile to President Trump, who's not going to here to write a tell-all book or launch a media career. So I think you're a sober voice on this. And just to be clear, there was no intelligence that showed an imminent threat. There was no intelligence that showed they were on the cusp of building a nuclear weapon. There was no intelligence, indeed, that showed they were trying to build a nuclear weapon. And nobody said, I've seen it, but you haven't. It exists, but you just haven't seen it. Did you ever hear anybody say there is intel that shows this?
I did not, no. But I know how this works. I know the Israeli officials, some in intelligence, some in government, will come to U.S. government officials and they will say all kinds of things that we know from our intelligence just simply isn't true. And they'll say, hey, I'm giving you a preview. It's not in intelligence channels yet, but here's what's going to happen. And that doesn't usually come to
Wait
to
a
fruition.
second. I mean, I thought that U.S. policymakers made their decisions on the basis of intelligence collected and or vetted by our intelligence. That's why we have intelligence agencies that soak up hundreds of billions a year. But you're saying that Israeli officials short-circuited the entire U.S. government and just went right to American policymakers and said, it doesn't matter what your country says, here's what we know? Is that what you're
I
saying?
mean, usually they're pretty slick, and
Of
and
course.
they'll say, hey, this isn't in intelligence channels yet because it's going to take some time to get there. And here they're on the cusp of building a bomb. You know, they're going to, I don't know, you pick your topic. A lot of times they'll sample different things until they find what sticks. But in general, the narrative about, you know, they're going to do a preemptive attack, or really just they're going to build a nuclear weapon. And if we don't stop them now, they're going to build a nuclear weapon. And enrichment is the pathway to that. They're going to continue enriching at whatever percent. Enrichment became the narrative. And so that hung up and that short-circuited and really sabotaged the entire negotiations, because the Iranians basically said, like, we're not going to negotiate if the whole starting point is no enrichment. And again, that had nothing to do with a nuclear weapon, and the Iranians essentially agreed to that. So the Israelis came in, they moved that red line, and they would do a lot to say, like, oh, they're enriching, and you know what that means? That means in X amount of time they could have a nuclear bomb. You have to ask now. And then the way the ecosystem would work is that the talking heads on TV, you know, your Mark Levin's, Sean Hannity's, et cetera, they would say basically the exact same thing that night on TV, or there would be a piece written in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, that would say something very, very similar. Yet, if you looked in classified intelligence, we didn't see any of that.
I mean, that must have been such a weird experience for you.
Bizarre.
Since you have access to the biggest and most powerful and presumably the best intel agencies in the world, and you're seeing people say things as fact when you know that they're not facts.
Right.
What was that like?
Infuriating. And I think that's why, in general, in the lead up to this last iteration, a good deal of key decision makers were not allowed to come express their opinion to the president.
Not allowed by whom?
I think it's important for me right now just to stay on the facts. I don't want to point names. I don't want this to become a name calling, or this guy did this on this day.
But any leader has gatekeepers, and so you're saying that you were prevented from bringing this information directly to the president by gatekeepers.
Well, there wasn't a robust debate. So in general, because our assessment really hadn't changed, we would send those up through intelligence channels. Everybody's kind of reading the same intelligence, but then what actually gets briefed to the president can be very, very different depending on who and how it's delivered. And without a level set from the intelligence community, someone like DNI Gabbard coming in and saying, Mr. President, like, here's the full scope of the intelligence and what it means, you're kind of lacking that sanity check of where we're at, or at least a good sampling, to gauge how accurate what the Israelis are saying is. And that process, in my view, was largely stifled in this second iteration. There was robust debate and robust discussions leading up to the 12-day war into Midnight Hammer. But this second round, to me, and I'm sure others will refute this and disagree with me, but what was conducted by just a handful of small of advisors around the president.
That is true. I believe what you're saying is true. My sense, though, and you would know more than I, is there weren't a lot of people directly around the president who work there, who work at the White House, the principals, who are making an aggressive case for this war. Do you think there was, was there a majority of like his top 10 advisors who were saying we must do this now?
I think the circle that was around him was very, very tight and very small. And I think they were all on the same sheet of music. And I think a lot of them were getting their information from the ecosystem that I described. And I think we'd be in a different place if we would have talked about the actual, what the intelligence picture is and what our interest is.
So Israeli government talking points laundered through Fox News and the Wall Street Journal, is that the ecosystem you're talking about?
Yeah, and then the Israeli officials coming in and basically either ahead of time or after the fact saying the same thing, like the enrichment is going to get them a nuclear bomb in a set amount of time.
Do you believe that you and the DNI, for whom you worked until yesterday, had as much FaceTime with the president as Israeli officials did?
You gotta have the best to be the best.
I fucking
Hi,
hate ads.
I'm Brett. And I'm Jonathan.
This is Darla.
And
I don't know. I don't know that for sure because I don't know exactly how frequently the Israelis were engaging directly with the president. It did seem like Benjamin Netanyahu was, obviously that was all public, that he was in the White House.
7 times.
Quite a bit, yeah, quite a bit. And then his other officials as well, Dermer, et cetera, those guys were in, they were making phone calls, just a lot of engagement from them. And again, when we would hear, or you'd hear what they were saying, it didn't reflect in intelligence channels, even intelligence that we shared with the Israelis, that the Israelis were giving us in many cases. So there was a clear, gap between, the intelligence and then the information that the president was given and the decisions that the president was making.
I don't want to put you in an uncomfortable position. Obviously, you're not going to divulge anything that's classified. I don't think you would. You definitely shouldn't, because there are people who hurt you for that, and you shouldn't. So without encouraging you to do that, I think it's a commonplace. It's understood in Washington. I've heard from many people who work in your business that a substantial portion of our information touches Israel at some point. Either it's collected by them, it is shaped by them. It's not purely American. Do you think it's fair?
Especially in the Middle East, I would say. I mean, look, the Israelis are tactically very proficient.
Yes.
They have a very competent intelligence service. And there's a lot that we can learn from them in the craft of intelligence.
Yes.
So they're very proficient. They're very good. However, whenever we get information from a liaison service, I think it's incredibly important to realize that it could be given to us to influence us as well as to inform us. And the way that I would see Israeli information, in particular coming from senior officials directly to our senior officials, that caveat just wasn't given frequently enough. And there's a lot of times, some of this is just because of bureaucratic practice, but a lot of it I think is just we feel very comfortable with the Israelis. A lot of them are dual citizens. They sound like us. They don't feel foreign. We kind of go into a more complacent mode where we trust a lot of what they have to say, not keeping in the back of our mind that they have their own agenda and we have our own agenda at the end of the day. Now, I'd say a lot of times we have the same agenda. It's very, very, I think, tactically the same when it comes to fighting Hezbollah, when it comes to fighting terrorism, sure. But when it comes to what's our strategic goal in a war that's going to have ramifications for our nation, for the region, for global energy supplies, I think most folks right now at the Pentagon and the intelligence agencies, they would say us and the Israelis actually have a different objective here. I don't believe that our objective has been clearly defined because we're shying away from regime change. The Israelis are not shying away from regime change. They want to knock out lock, stock, and barrel the current government. They don't seem to have a plan for what comes next.
Well, that was my next question. And I think you would have heard tell of such a plan. So if you're going to take out a government, I think it's fair to ask what replaces it. And I have asked a bunch of people, many people, this question, never gotten any answer whatsoever other than there's no plan. The Israelis don't have a plan because they don't care. Do you think that's fair?
I will be right back.
I think that's completely fair. I think as Americans, rightfully, we want a clear stated objective and end state for war. I think that's something that was born out of the GWOT, was born out of the Vietnam era. Americans want to know why we're going to war, what the end state is, and they can get on board in general if that's clearly articulated. That's not the case with Iran. The Israelis are different. I think a lot of times, again, because a lot of them speak English, they culturally feel the same, but the Israelis have a much different tolerance for how and why they're going to war and for their endurance for war. The Israelis are completely fine with Iran slipping into chaos. That means that the Ayatollah and the IRGC can't really threaten them anymore. Hezbollah's money might be cut off in their head. And so complete chaos in Iran, it's not necessarily a bad thing for the Israelis. For us, for global energy, Straits of Hormuz, our partners in the GCC, mass migration problems in Europe, this is a major problem.
It's a catastrophe for the world.
For the world, yeah.
Hate to brag, but we're pretty confident this show is the most vehemently pro-dog podcast you're ever going to see. We can take or leave some people, but dogs are non-negotiable. They are the best. They really are our best friends. And so for that reason, we're thrilled to have a new partner called Dutch Pet. It's the fastest growing pet telehealth service. Dutch.com is on a mission to create what you need, what you actually need, affordable quality veterinary care anytime, no matter where you are. They will get your dog or cat what you need immediately. It's offering an exclusive discount, Dutch is, for our listeners. You get $50 off your vet care per year. Visit Dutch.com/Tucker to learn more. Use the code Tucker for $50 off. That is an unlimited vet visit. $82 a year, $82 a year. We actually use this. Dutch has vets who can handle any pet under any circumstance.
Tonight we are.
In a 10-minute call. It's pretty amazing, actually. You never have to...
Whoops, sorry. Didn't see that it were... Yeah, I just wanted to listen to... because this is the first interview that the guy who resigned today. This is his first interview since leaving. So I'm just really curious as to what, like, I just want to know what he actually thinks. And I actually think there was this really good take from Baron Coleman talking about it earlier, because what he did, we're not gonna go into it right now because he's still even live right now. But he makes the connection between how Erica Kirk is allowed to be treated. You know, she's allowed to act however the fuck she wants. And this guy's a fucking legit gold star husband, served 11 tours, blah, 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 blah. And like, he can't even make any criticisms. But she can act however she wants. And that's the screen for her. It's great. I think it's hilarious, but he does do a little good breakdown of it, and I might watch it a little later on. Just that part, not the whole thing, because he goes for a long time. But I am very interested to just get this guy's take about why he resigned, the purpose of it, all that stuff.
And then a lot of the exile communities here in the United States of Iranians, a lot of them really nice people. Sure. They jumped on board. We got to save our people. But by your telling and by the facts, by the way, this is not really an opinion. There's no plan for what happens after regime change. Like, the people pushing that line would be happy to see a permanent civil war there,
which is insanity. So if we do want a real regime change and we want the people to rise up and want it to happen fairly organically, going aggressively after the Ayatollah was the last thing that we ever should have done. Again,
which is what I was saying earlier. It's like we replaced a guy who literally put a fatwa against nuclear weapons to death, and now his son is running the country, and he's just gonna... I mean, what's happened now, I'll be honest, the craziest part about this is that there is no one more vilified, or not vilified, but what's the word when, like, you were right? Not exonerated, maybe exonerated is a good point. There is no one more exonerated right now than Kim Jong-il. There's no one who is more right than him right now. It's crazy because, I mean, his whole thing was, he was like, when they were asking him and they were trying to negotiate and be like, hey guys, we shouldn't have nuclear weapons or whatever. And he was like, hey, do you remember that guy, Gaddafi? You remember him? You remember how you told him that he didn't need the nukes and nothing would happen? And then you saw him sodomized in the street to death? Yeah, that's why we have a nuke. That's why. So that you can't fuck with us. And honestly, who can say he's wrong? I mean, we legit, every time we neuter a country and don't let them have nukes, they end up getting completely destroyed. So the only honest safety as a country anymore, if in this new world that we have, is that you have a nuke that you can say, hey, don't fuck with us. We're going to be a sovereign country, which is crazy. That's a crazy state to live in, or not state, but just like world to live in, state of the world to live in.
Like, I'm no fan of the former supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. However, he was moderating their nuclear program. He was preventing them from getting a nuclear weapon. if you take him out, if you kill him aggressively, people are going to rally around that regime. And the next Ayatollah that you get, and I think this is the case by all data that we have with his son, the next Ayatollah that you get is going to be more radical because he has to show the people that he's going to push back. And there's always a tension inside of Iran between the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and the clerics who run the country. They have a healthy, I think, tension between the two, a rivalry. IRGC's leadership, these are Qasem Soleimani's troops. These are the guys that Soleimani trained. These guys, most of them cut their teeth in the Iraq-Iran war. A lot of them cut their teeth fighting us in Iraq. They cut their teeth fighting ISIS in Iraq and Syria. They created Hezbollah. They trained and armed Hezbollah. So these guys are actually pretty serious and pretty hardline, and they're willing to fight, and they want to fight. And so by killing the Ayatollah, we've given them more power because now internally they can go and they can say, hey, all you guys who thought that we could negotiate with the Americans, you're chumps. We have to fight them. So I think the longer this goes on, the more negotiators, the more moderates that are killed off, like we just killed, Ali Laranjani, who wasn't a...
I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm saying. I mean, it's you've killed all the moderates. Who do you think is left? The moderates in Iran were the government officials. The reason that right before the war, hold on, all right. Right before the war, there was negotiations happening, and we had already gotten more than any other president had gotten. Like you'd already have, like, one of the things they agreed to days prior to us starting all this is that they would accept American, what do you call them, investigators or whatever, to go and make sure that the Iranian nuclear plants weren't creating nuclear material. That had never been on the table before. So that's actually an accomplishment that we could get them to that point. And then we just are like, no, that's not good enough. Like, what are we talking? I mean, they weren't even close to a new. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, we had everything we wanted, and then we were like, no. I mean, it's obviously not because of us. We know it's because of Israel. They've already said it's because of Israel. Trump even came out the other day and said, like, yeah, well, that's what it is. Which is fucking crazy. I mean, that's just, I don't know. It's wild.
Negotiator who was eager to get us a deal. Again, look, I've got no love for the IRGC. I've got no love for the Iranians. But you've got to realize,
just to be clear,
if you want it to end,
in case you're tuning in now, you fought their proxies.
I fought their proxies. I mean, I put countless of them in flex cuffs or much worse. I've gone after the Iranians. I was in specialized outfits that went after the Iranians and their proxies. These are very serious people. They're not supermen by any means. They're humans, but they're serious. And if you give the IRGC a reason to take more control and they get support from the people, because again, you kill off the Ayatollah, they can say, hey, the last guy was too moderate. Look at what it got us. Like, give us more control.
I get it.
And the Iranian people are going to be like, well, actually, yeah, I don't like getting bombed by the Americans and the Israelis. Maybe we do need to listen to the IRGC.
So
I mean, there was never a threat, honestly, to America until now. And they created this. Not Iran, meaning our government created the situation in which we should be afraid of terrorist attacks, as well as false flag attacks, because it's insane. It's insane. It's insane what's happening right now. It's crazy. I mean, it's
a lot of these the points that you're making, I think, are insightful, but they're also pretty obvious if you kind of game it out for 10 seconds. Yeah. So it seems like you've got two different goals. You've described Israel's goal as just regime change, permanent chaos, take Iran off the map as a coherent nation state, just tie them up with internal chaos, whatever the effects of that are on the rest of the world, all of them disastrous. Then on the American side, you have the president's stated goal, which is we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon, which they didn't have and weren't trying to build in any imminent way.
Right.
Okay. So if you join those two together in a common mission in a war, like that's our partner in this war,
Yeah.
then you create all kinds of very bad incentives. And now Larijani, I think, was killed by the Israelis. You saw the Israelis blow up Qatari natural gas facilities today.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say they did that today. So watch out for fucking Gulf state fucking oil infrastructure to get completely wiped out. Because every step of the way in this war so far, they have literally been like, okay, whatever you do, we'll do. So you bomb our water sterilization plants, we're going to, sorry, not sterilization, salination plants, we'll bomb yours. You want to cut off our supply to XYZ, cool, we'll cut off the Strait of Hormuz. You want to destroy our oil infrastructure, which is our economy, basically. Okay, cool, we'll do that to you too. And it's every step of the way. We just keep escalating this. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen, I think his name is Robert Pape. We might go to him in a minute. But Robert Pape has this book called The Escalation Trap. And the escalation trap is this. It's America cannot look like it failed. And so every step of the way, you have to escalate. But in reality, the Iranians have the escalation power. They have the power to decide whether this actually escalates or not. I'm sorry I keep messing with my nose. I've had an issue with my nose today. I don't know what's going on. It's really fucking with me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, but yeah.
Qatari natural gas field, which feeds the rest of the world, LNG. Those seem like very obvious steps, not to minimize the threat from Iran, but to lock down the United States in perma-war. We can't get out after we do that. You kill the negotiator, you attack our closest ally in the region, is probably Qatar. You attack Qatar, apparently? Like, no one thought this might happen?
And there's no reins on the Israelis, unfortunately. I mean, we continue to refer to them like as our partners or equal to the best partners we've ever had. But at the end of the day, the Israelis couldn't do any of this without us. And so we have to be
acting against our interests in a very obvious and very serious way.
And again, it's obvious if we've stated that our goal is just to take away their ability to ever even enrich and to take away their ballistics and to take away their Navy, all these kind of tactical objectives. If we say that that's our objective, and that's when we can come to a place where we can just exit, it's in the Israelis' interest to get us more and more entrenched in this.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what they're doing right now. You know, I when the Israelis killed Larijani, I think I may have misspoke and said we didn't kill him. The Israelis,
yes.
The Israelis struck him. But I do believe in Iran at this point of the war, they view it as, whether we like it or not, I think they view it as us and the Israelis kind of as the same thing.
We've described it that way.
Because the Israelis couldn't do any of this without us. And that's where the relationship is just way off kilter. If they have different objectives than us, then what are we doing letting them drive the war?
So you just said something that's been disputed many times by the well, I'm not going to name anybody, but by advocates for Israel. It's a PR department here in the United States, which is huge. And you said they couldn't do any of this without us. You often hear its promoters, its lobbyists.
I mean, it's fucking obvious they can't do any of this shit without us. We're sending 2,500 boots on the ground, but have I seen any Israeli boots on the ground? Huh? Do you know where it is? Hey, Bubba. I don't know where it is. Hey, do you want to say hi? Come here. Come here. Oh my gosh. No. You want to say hi? You can come here? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come see Dad. All right. This my son. He's saying hello for a second. Yo, clap. Say clap, clap. Clap, clap. Yeah. Clap, clap. I know. Okay. You ready to go? Oh no. Love you. I love you, Bubba. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot what I was even getting at. What? Let me go back 5 seconds.
I have the war.
So you just said something that's been disputed many times by the well, I'm not going to name anybody, but by advocates for Israel.
Oh, wait.
It's a PR department here in the United States, which is huge. And you said they couldn't do any of this without us. You often hear it's...
Oh, yeah, them just talking about, hey, like, we couldn't do this without you. I mean, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we sending American lives over there when there's an entire population of people who want this done? They could go. I mean, why are we calling up... I don't know if you guys know this. Most of the people who've died... on the American side from this conflict are all reservists. I don't know if you guys knew that. Most of them are reservists. Why the fuck are we sending in reservists when there's an entire fucking country of people who have a law that says that they should be fucking a part of the military for a portion of their lives? Fucking call them up, send them up. What are we doing? I mean, it's crazy.
Promoters,
that's crazy.
Lobbyists say Israel just wants to fight its own wars. Back off and let us do it. Is that not?
I'd love us to run the experiment. We try that.
What would happen?
You know, the Israelis, again, they have they have the ability to go out and collect great intelligence. They have a very capable military, but they're a very small country. I think Israel would be able to defend itself. I think it could conduct, limited strikes on its borders. I think it could continue carrying out pretty impressive targeted assassinations.
Yes.
Against its adversaries. And so I think you would see it relatively contained. What it couldn't do is go topple entire governments. It couldn't do something like the Iran war, the Iraq war. It couldn't aggressively, destabilize Syria. These big, heavy lifts.
By the way, on the point that he made first, that they could defend themselves, I don't even believe that. Because we've already pulled all of our THAAD missile systems, all of our stuff from pretty much everywhere else in the world, leaving them at risk, basically completely, so that we can protect Israel. And they're shooting them off like fucking candy. So we're not going to be able to do that. And on top of that, most of the helium that we get in the West comes from this area. And I don't know if you guys know this. Helium is how you make chips. And if you're going to make these high sophisticated chips or missiles that we have, guess what you need? Chips. So we are not going to be able to replenish the things that we're doing right now. That's the craziest thing, in my opinion, about all this, is I don't think we'll be able to replenish it until we actually create the infrastructure like at home to be able to make these things. I mean, it's insane what we're doing. As far as sourcing the materials and stuff, it's
Israel could not do on their own, which is where you get back to the Israeli lobby being just so potent and so powerful and so aggressive.
So and I want to ask you about that, because that's the line that you're being attacked for. And so I want to go through and have you explain more fully, if you would, why you said what you did, and read it. But before I do that, one last question. Was any of this debated that you know of before this war commenced 3 weeks ago? Did anyone say, well, wait a second, if we do this and kill the Ayatollah, because that was like the first order, I think, what are the effects after? And like, what's the goal? Did these debates ever
I know emerge? They happened heavily before the 12-Day War. I think that when the Israelis came back around and said they wanted to do this, I just don't think there was any debate. I think just based on the ecosystem and the amount of influence that was exerted.
Because in some ways this is a little humiliating, since we were told, I was told, the whole country was told, that after the 12-day war there was no Iranian nuclear threat. We got rid of it. I'm not imagining that. It just happened.
Yeah, I mean, that whole Iranian nuclear threat thing is, we all know that's bullshit. Because Tulsi, everybody has come out in the last, I don't know, 20 years. Every security fucking officer that we've had has come out and been like, no. I mean, like, there's people outside of the government who keep saying it, but nobody in the government until now has said that they were close, and I don't believe a fucking word of it. I don't believe a fucking word of it.
Do you recall those statements?
Yeah, I mean, Operation Midnight Hammer.
Yes.
Destroyed their nuclear capability. So
how was it that we wound up 6 months later getting another lecture about their nuclear capability and its imminent threat to the United States and nuclear tipped ballistic missiles aimed at Miami and the whole thing, and nobody, first of all, there was no organized protest against this. Like in a normal country, you'd think people would rise up and be like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Mm-hmm.
You just told us 6 months ago the exact opposite.
Yeah.
What did internally in the intel world people say, what the hell is going on?
I just think that the planning for this was so compartmentalized that there was no debate, as in it was a foregone conclusion. Maybe the exact timing they weren't exactly aware of, or that had to be debated. When do we do it? But it seemed to be a foregone conclusion, and I'm sure others will say no, that's not the case at all. But there was no robust debate like there was going into the 12-day war, because the big question that a lot of us had that were skeptical of Operation Midnight Hammer was, okay, so we do this. We know the Israelis' whole goal is regime change. What makes us think they'll stop? And if they do stop for a period of time, why won't we just be back in the same place in 6 months, where they're saying that we have to go back in? And that's essentially exactly what happened.
So this was raised.
This was raised, to my knowledge, in June. This was like, hey, what happens next? So you take out the nuclear, the ability for them to enrich and to potentially develop a nuclear weapon. That's done. We know the Israelis have a completely different goal. Part of that strike, Midnight Hammer, was also to get the Israelis to wrap up the 12-day war. But we knew, because of what the Israelis told us, that they wanted, this is the time to take down the regime. And they don't want the Ayatollah to be in power. They want a regime change. They want a new government there. So we said, okay, knowing that, we know that this strike, this limited strike that we're going to do, isn't going to be enough. At some point, the Israelis are going to come back to us and say, hey, we have to go again. And with that knowledge, and I think because so many of us had pointed that out, and because the Israelis had said it, there wasn't a big debate this last time. You know, I think they had that discussion, you know, behind closed doors, and there wasn't a chance for any dissenting voices to come in.
But you would think, well, I've seen it before, you know, when a question like this arises, the people making the decision go immediately to their own intel agencies, and in your case, the agency that has jurisdiction over those agencies, and say, you know, all available intel on the question of the Iranian nuclear program, all available intel on the question of ICBMs or its ballistic missile program, all available intel on what might happen if we topple the regime in place. Like, this has all been gamed out for a long time. There's a constant process of gathering intel on it, correct?
Yeah. And that's what we did in the lead up to the 12-day war.
But this time, no.
But this time, no. Not to my knowledge. And I'm sure the administration will come out and say, no, you just weren't invited. But I've got a pretty good idea of how those meetings look. And even if I wasn't invited, I at least would have known that they took place. Again, it just seemed to be a foregone conclusion that, like, this was happening.
So most people don't wake up in the morning.
I mean, okay, let's even, I just want to make it aside real quick, because I watched this from the other day and I thought this was so good. Yeah. So Cenk Uygur from Young Turks the other day did this, and I felt this in my soul a little bit, because I'm so mad at everything going on.
Massey. And then later you saw, and he embarrassed, must release. Where are all these vaunted progressives in Congress? But I know. Hate me, I'm the bad guy. I fight too much. I'm too aggressive against the war. I'm too aggressive against money in politics and the lobbies that have bought all of you. I'm too aggressive against your stupid, corrupt colleagues who cash all those checks, and you know it. If you're a so-called progressive in Congress, you know your colleagues are dirty. You know they're all cashing checks from Big Pharma, from the defense contractors, from the Israeli lobby, and they serve those lobbies. But God forbid you should harm your relationship with them. Or why don't you go to coffee and have fancy brunches in DC and have the media come by and go, oh, you're a star. Way to not fight. Now, remember, if you fight, we're going to call you a radical like Roe. We're going to smear you. We're going to say you're an anti-Semite, and we're going to just try to destroy you. So shut up and know your role. We didn't send all those progressives into Congress to know their role, to be quiet and do as they're told and listen to the effing Israeli lobby. Are you kidding me? Okay, guys, how can you tell who's right and who's wrong? Number one, you don't have to worry about, as I said, the past. Let's say
I love this so much. I'll be honest with you. I love it so much because I'm like, okay, like hold on. I want to get to the part where he talks about he talks about the squad, he talks about Bernie, he talks about all these people on the left who are just like, where are these people?
Reality, we're going to maintain that system even if we have the White House, the House, and the Senate. Look, you want me to be mad at Republicans? That's easy, man. So 99% of now maybe 98% of the Republican Party is corrupt. Tom Massey isn't, even if you disagree with him, he isn't corrupt at all. Rand Paul is fighting against this war. Look, guys, it's humiliating. Tucker Carlson is fighting against this war more than any of the Democratic leaders are. So, okay, but
I mean that reaction right there is exactly the fucking one I have, where I'm like, look, I'm not a Republican. I'm sort of kind of a lefty. I mean, maybe not economically, but in some ways. But here's the thing. Where the fuck is the Democratic Party on anything? Like, where are they? I haven't heard fucking dick from Bernie. I haven't heard dick from the fucking squad, from Ilham Omar, or from fucking AOC, or from fucking Cory fucking Booker, from fucking... I haven't heard dick from anyone. Where are these Democrats who can fucking say something? You could just put it on the floor, put it on the record. Fucking go do a press conference. Fucking go do something. Go do something. I hate getting shit on for being like somebody who like is defending like Tucker Carlson and fucking even Candace Owens, not Cory Booker, but what's his name? Ro Khanna. Fucking, like, I get shit for defending those guys, but then I'm like, listen, I mean, where are the Democrats? Where are they? Where are they? Where are they on any of this? They're supposed to be the anti-war party. How can you let this, what the fuck is going on here?
My biggest frustration and anger is reserved for the so-called progressives in Congress. Where are you guys? Where's the squad? Okay, where are you guys? Where's the progressive caucus? Nowhere to be found. I can't even see Bernie. I don't see anybody fighting against. There's only Ro Khanna. And then they're going to tell us later, oh, no, you should vote for other people who secretly thought the war was a really bad idea, but didn't do anything about it. Didn't vote that way, didn't fight that way, didn't go on media, didn't make the case against war. Oh, but they had one tweet once in the midst of this giant, disastrous war. Instead of screaming their heads off, instead of calmly, coolly, strategically making sure that the war is not funded, they did bupkis, they did zero. And later they'll lie to you and go, oh, they were heroes. And no, meanwhile, Tucker Carlson's outflanking us on the anti-war position.
Sorry.
What if Tucker runs for president?
Sneezed.
And let's say it's Tucker versus AOC. AOC is going to say what? She was more anti-war than Tucker was? I would love for her to be more anti-war than Tucker. And good news, guys. I'm happy to be the bad guy, right? Tons of like left-wing shows are like, oh, even though they're also upset about Democratic leadership, they're like, Cenk takes it too far. He should not criticize.
Anyway, yeah. Excuse me. Oh my God. Sorry. Oh my God. Oh. Shut up. Oh. Oh. I'm having a fucking sneeze attack. I'm about to die. Oh. Anyway. Yeah, I just wanted to play a little bit of that because it really pisses me off. Like, oh my God. I'm so sorry. Oh. I just almost died. That was crazy. I can't stop sneezing. But I just, oh, yeah, Cenk Uygur, yeah, he's not great on everything, but on this, as far as the, like, response from the left to actually fucking anything that's happening, I think he's fucking spot on. I mean, I have my issues with some of the things he says, and he sometimes can get a little bit, yeah. But his response to what's going on at the moment, I mean, he's like one of the only people actually speaking about it. It's crazy. I mean, it's insane to me that people on the left, and I don't know where I would put myself. I mean, I believe in like socialized medicine and a lot of different things. But I'm also libertarian in a lot of ways. I'm like a social libertarian. I believe the government should tax you no more than it should. However, I also think the government has a role in keeping Americans alive and keeping our systems working. Therefore, they should be a part of that stuff. However, here's the thing, is the fact that the Democratic Party is so fucking corrupt, or I don't even know if that's what it is. I mean, they just won't say a fucking thing. It blows my mind that Bernie Sanders has said zero about the war. I mean, fucking zero. Where the fuck is this guy? Where are these people who should be saying, hey, we shouldn't do this? Be going on the floor. Like, all we have is Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna. That's it. And I knew it when the Epstein files started to come out, and I didn't see anything from AOC or any of the squad, any of Bernie. I didn't see anything from them going after that. I'm sorry. When I saw that, I was like, oh, everybody's bought. I was like, oh, I give up. Like, if they're not going to say anything, everybody is fucking done. If they're not saying anything, everybody's done. It is showing that there is literally two people in the entire government worth of fucking shit. And that is so depressing. That is so depressing. I mean, well, okay, to be fair, Graham Plattner is probably pretty good. I don't know if I like Tallarico. He might be all right. Gavin Newsom can go fuck himself. Jasmine Crockett, fuck that bitch. Andrew Cuomo can go suck a dick. All of them. They're all fucking shills. They're all fucking bullshit. I mean, and the same thing on the right. You know what I mean? There's literally 2 people in our government, maybe 3 or 4 if you really want to count Rand Paul or Ron Paul, and maybe, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe that Asian guy, I can't remember his name, but he was going hard with the stuff too. But I haven't even seen anything from him about the war either. I mean, none of these people are saying anything. It's like we're all sitting here going, "Hey, what the fuck?" And none of them say a fucking word. I mean, I can't bring myself to understand that. I mean, I can't. It's crazy. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and continue
Morning
this.
and decide to feel horrible, exhausted.
Blowback, the effects, the downstream effects of military action, terrorism in the United States. And I have the feeling we're going to see some of it, but I want to ask you. But since you are an acknowledged expert on that question, and since you spent your adult life fighting Iranian proxies, and because we're always hearing some of them are in the United States, did anyone go to you and say, if we do this, what are the odds that we will have
Mood legal cannabis. It's real flower that gets you a real high.
Oh, Mood gives you such a good
terror attacks in the homeland here in the U.S.?
That was a piece or an intelligence product that we worked up on our own.
I bet.
And coordinated throughout the intelligence community. Basically, we talked about the Iranians' ability to conduct sleeper cell-like attacks, which is actually pretty limited. The whole idea of sleeper cells or a cell operating is challenging in today's environment because cells have to communicate with each other, and we're pretty good at picking up on that. The real threat, and most major terrorist organizations have kind of moved to this model, is the lone actors.
Yes.
It's inspiring people that are already in place by using the media. There was already a ton of blowback, because the Gaza war. Hamas used propaganda very, very effectively to, I think, curry a lot of favor with younger people here in the United States and abroad. And there was multiple terrorist attacks in America in the last year where Gaza was cited because they consumed some of the propaganda coming out of Gaza. And these people weren't, infiltrated Iranian agents. They were here, folks that were homegrown. And so we said, hey, the biggest threat right now isn't that the Iranians are going to sneak some guys over and they've been waiting here for years and they're Quds Force operatives. That's always possible. Again, the Iranians are very competent as well. And they have tried something like that before in the past, back under the Obama administration when they tried to kill the Saudi ambassador in Georgetown. So we were worried about that. But what we were more worried about was the fact that Biden had the border open for 4+ years. And I testified publicly in Congress laying out the 18,000 known suspected terrorists that potentially could be in the country. Since then, we've discovered potentially more. The problem is the bookkeeping under the Biden administration was kind of like the border. It was wide open. And so we don't know how many folks are actually in the country that shouldn't be here. It's millions. How many of them have ties to countries that are adjacent to Iran or that are Iranian? As I left, we were still working on some of those numbers. But we've seen several terrorist attacks since these operations began in America, and they all fit that lone actor inspired model. So the blowback is, as longer this goes on and the more the propaganda inevitably gets weaponized, we are going to see, more than likely, more people here that are radicalized. Now, frankly, I think that and this is another great thing about President Trump, none of these people should be in the country. We should have tighter immigration policies. We should be focused right now. Our focus should be on finding everyone who shouldn't be in our country right now and getting them out as soon as possible, not in another foreign adventure.
I wonder, so you've already seen in the wake of a recent terror attack, neocons use that attack as a way to try and censor, shut down, maybe even imprison critics of the decision to go to war in Iran. So it's almost like you control both sides. Like you advocate for a war, which inevitably stokes religious hatred because you advocate for the killing of a religious leader, okay? So you're helping to create religious war, permanent generational religious war. And then when your country or the country you happen to be living in that you don't really care about feels the effects, when Americans are killed as a result of that, you use their deaths to justify the silencing of people who criticized you. Does that make sense?
No, exactly.
Yeah. So how much are you concerned we're going to see more of that?
I'm very concerned. I think I pray we won't, but the odds are not in our favor, just considering how open our borders have been. Obviously, this type of propaganda radicalizes people. Again, we've already seen attacks. We saw attacks inspired by the conflict in Gaza. So I think we're going to see more of this, and then just, made the mistake of opening up Twitter a couple times today. There's people calling for, dissenting voices to be charged, to be locked up,
of course,
et cetera. And so,
they may be.
The erosion of civil rights, I think, during a time of conflict is nothing new. Unfortunately, we've seen it before.
It's the rule. But I wonder, though, is like,
it's like one of the only fucking constants under the entire sun is that as soon as you start fucking a war, you can just start cracking down on anybody you want.
People talk through, or maybe they didn't talk it through, but did anybody in the lead up to this, I just want to ask it again to make sure I understand the answer, in the lead up to this war, which is now a regional war, potentially a global war, big war, biggest war of our lives, did anyone come to you and say, do you have what's your projection for like what the effects on the United States will be? Like how many Americans could die at the shopping mall because of this, or at school?
We proactively wrote an assessment,
yeah,
which is what we tend to do anyways. But again, there just wasn't a huge process and a debate about this last iteration.
But you're worried about it.
I'm very concerned about it.
I am too.
Yeah.
I am too. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna finish the rest of this later. I don't feel like listening to it anymore. I'll be honest. Sort of, kind of got me on a downer. Made me feel a little bit sad. You know what I mean? That's okay. Well, it's not okay, but it is what it is. Let's do this. I wonder if there's any fun music stuff going on the internet right now. Oh. Oh, this is from 7. It's going to go at 7 a.m.? Wow, that's different for them. Let's see if there's anything else in here that's... Sorry. You guys are looking at my algorithm. It's wild right now. It's absolutely wild. My algorithm is not okay. It's okay. So here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and switch over. We're gonna just cause I'm done with politics right now. I can't. It's too much. I can't. My body is like, no. Don't do that. So we're just gonna switch to the good old fashioned. We'll probably play some For Honor. Let's do that. Alright. Updated that. Gotta update one more. All right. Well, we updated it. So at least we're all good. All right. Well, but I am going to say again, thank you guys for anybody who's been checking in on some of the music. We've been out here fucking killing it. I mean, we're out here doing the thing. Look at that. 14,000 in the last 30 days. That's pretty good. You know what I mean? That's pretty, hey, I don't know a lot of people who can say that. So that feels good. We're gonna go ahead and we'll just play something. We'll turn it up a little bit so that it's not so quiet. And we'll play one more game of Magic, and then we'll switch over. Let's see. By the way, hello to anybody coming in the chat. Hope you guys are having a good day. We just got done doing the politics segment. We're bored. We're done with that today. I'm so done with that at the moment. There's too much going on. It's not okay. We're gonna play one game of this, and then we'll probably play something else after here. Play some, like I said, some For Honor or something like that. It'll be alright. Might find some cool music videos or something like that if we can find them. If we can find anything cool, I will listen to it. Or if you guys have suggestions, please let me know. I would love to listen to some cool suggestions too. I fucked up. Yeah, I'm dead. Fuck it. Hopefully that gave me enough. I just wanted to get the reward. Hey. Alright, well, we're done with this game. We're gonna switch to For Honor. I wonder what kind of clips are going to come out on tonight. It's going to be interesting. It's probably going to be a lot of political stuff. A lot of political stuff, but that's okay. Oh, is there an update? Hey, there's a new character. I'm going to be very happy. But probably not. Probably just a skin. More than likely. Alright, let's do some ranked. Let's do it. Satellite ain't even that far. I kinda wonder where you are already home. I can leave it alone with all my mind. I already gave you the time and the place, but don't be shy. Just come be the man I need. Tell me you got something to give. I want it. I kinda like it when you call me wonderful. Tell me the type that don't you get stuck on it. I gotta know you meant to be the man I need. Talk to me. Be the man that I need, baby. Talk to me, talk to me. Talk to me, talk to me.
I'd like to think you feel the same way, but I can't tell with you sometimes. So baby, let's get on the same page. Stop making me read the
That line already know. I can leave it alone, but oh my mind. Ooh, they got me. And he gave The time and the place, but only shine. Just come be the man I need. Bubba. Bubba. Come here, Bubba. Bubba man.
It's so silly of me to act like I don't need you back. When all I can think about is that since I seen you last, I know I didn't have to walk away. All I had to do was ask for space. I'm telling you be on your way. When I told you to fall back, so can you come pick up your clothes? I haven't folded. Sleeping at the door.
Bubba. Yeah. You popping the bubbles? You popping the balloons, Bubba? It's funny because his name is Chicken Sweat, and my buddy back in high school used to be like, Chicken Whip! Whenever anything would happen, he'd be like, Chicken Whip! Got that chicken whip on me. He did fuck me on that one, but that's okay. By the way, if you guys, like I said, anything musically that's going on, go ahead and check out those links that are at the top. And yeah, go get that. Bubba. Bubba. Come here, Bubba. Bubba. Hey, hey. watch me play the game? Look.
I'm on some shit. Switch up the love. Don't waste my time. You want some new shit? Yeah, that's cool. I don't care. Up and you down, I'm still here. I put aside how I feel, 'cause I love you. And I'm understanding. And I know that the life we both live in is hard to manage. But if your ex thinks she can call you home, you better tell her you love me.
Say, that was a good fight, Daddy. Say, Daddy, that was a good job. It was a good fight? Yeah. You gonna do it? You gonna do it? Do it. Do it. Look. Look. Oh my God, it's so hard to play with him.
I just don't wanna end up, but we gotta have these conversations before the shit get worse. I'm not
Oh my
gonna
gosh,
play
what's
shit
wrong?
away. You better leave. It's nothing to talk about, but if your ex thinks she can call your phone, you better tell her you know I'm
Okay.
say my name, say my name.
I'm sorry.
It's time to make it plain. Just don't be a constraint.
You wanna get down? I love you. What are you gonna do? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry guys, I'm sitting here having to take care of Bubba. Oh. He got me. Damn, it's been a while since I played this, and I feel like I am losing it. Maybe this character is just not great. Wow.
slow before I go, losing control. Make my love flow. Anything goes, equals my heart. These walls I took my time to build. Came down when you showed me something real. That's over, ain't got nothing to fear. No broken-hearted people here. No more second guessing. I won't fight it from in. Captured my heart, you win. Don't look
Tonight might be a short stream, guys. I don't know. I usually have more I'm doing. Tonight's just sort of bullshitting, having a good time. Yeah, I think we're only doing a 2-hour stream tonight, so we only got like 15 more minutes, something like that. We're gonna do something chill tonight. We're not gonna do a lot. I mean, I don't know. I'm not feeling it tonight, guys. Not feeling it tonight. Let's see if there's anything going on in the world that I feel like commenting on or talking about or anything. Oh. Let's see what this is. I don't know what this is, so we're gonna watch this blind. I don't know what this is. Let's see what this is.
See the USA and your Chevrolet. You never did it right. Shut out the light, kept out of sight.
I don't like it. I don't like it. That's whack. That's not good. Well, I don't know. Not bad, but it's not my cup of tea. So we're just gonna not listen to that. But we will. Maybe we'll listen to this. Oh, that's at 7 a.m. So we're not gonna do that. Maybe this.
All right, guys, forgive me for whispering, but Crystal's in the other room sleeping, and I don't want to wake her up. But I have some major breaking news I wanted to share with you. So we discussed earlier the massive, massive news that Israel and the U.S. struck Iran's South Pars gas field, okay? That's a huge deal because now you're going after, like, the lifeblood of their economy and their ability to survive, okay? This is going to impact Iranian civilians massively. Of course, not just the government. It's a huge deal. It's literally one step below just nuking Tehran. That's what it is. Well, in response to that, we had now 3 different attacks from the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, against basically the oil and natural gas that's in the Gulf Arab states, okay? So it's like tit for tat here. You attacked our oil and gas infrastructure, now we're attacking your oil and gas infrastructure. But they responded by not even just doing one attack to make it even Stevens. No, they attacked 3
what up, Dow?
different oil and gas fields,
90 just
which are like,
hello, my
you know, everything to that region. If it's not the playground for the Epstein class in the top 1%, like a luxury getaway place, the Gulf Arab states are all about the oil and gas, okay? So that's a huge deal, and that led to Donald Trump absolutely panicking, okay? So listen to this. Here's what Trump tweets. He says, Israel, out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as the South Pars gas field in Iran. A relatively small section of the whole has been hit. The United States knew nothing about this particular attack. By the way, more on that in a little bit. That's a lie. He's lying when he says that, okay? And the country of Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved with it, nor did it have any idea that it was going to happen. Unfortunately, Iran did not know this, or any of the pertinent facts pertaining to the South Pars attack, and unjustifiably and unfairly attacked a portion of Qatar's liquid natural gas facility. No more attacks will be made by Israel. He said that in all caps. No more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field unless Iran unwisely decides to attack a very innocent, in this case, Qatar, in which instance the United States of America, with or without the help or consent of Israel, will massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field at an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. I do not want to authorize this level of violence and destruction because of the long-term implications that it will have on the future of Iran, but if Qatar's liquid natural gas is again attacked, I will not hesitate to do so. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Do you understand what he's saying there? Basically, he's threatening, I'll blow up the whole fucking thing if you guys continue to attack us. Yeah, but asshole, you keep throwing the first punch. You keep taking the first shot. You and Israel, the axis of Epstein. You don't get to hit them and then demand like, hey, you can't punch us back. That's not how the world works, right? So, as Pisco said, Trump has absolutely no control of the situation. He can't rein in Israel. He can't coerce Iran. It's a complete disaster and a mess. And as Yashar Ali points out, there were multiple reports earlier today that say the U.S. was warned in advance of the attacks on the South Pars gas field. They were warned. Trump allegedly gave it the green light. Like, this is all out there. This is all reported. So one has to wonder whether he's posting this because the Qataris are absolutely furious. So as I told you, Trump will make it so we destroy every single allegiance that we have. We'll have no allies. We will be totally alienated, totally isolated. This is what happens when you launch a trade war against everybody, including your allies. You give your middle finger to your allies. You treat them like shit. You know, they're bearing the brunt of this war that you fucking started for no fucking reason when there was no threat. And now he's saying, I'll blow up the whole fucking field if this continues. Well, it's gonna continue. So as I said, nukes are on the table. We need to fucking impeach this guy. He needs to be impeached. He needs to be removed. He needs to be arrested. This is unacceptable, what's happening now. Stop acting like this is normal. This is nowhere near normal. We are so far from normal. And then I want to make this point because Adam Johnson said this, and I think it's brilliant, and he's, I think, exactly right. He says, it's wild that Qatar giving Trump a $400 million plane might be the only thing that's going to save us. By the way, if anything fucking saves us. Because, yeah, he's throwing Israel under the bus, but he greenlit the attack. He knew it was going to happen. And now he's pretending like he didn't do that, right? But we'll see who's really in charge, right? Because unless he cuts off the money and cuts off the weapons to Israel and actually throws them under the fucking bus, then we know, right? Then we know. So this is a big deal, man. This is a giant deal. Don't buy the okey doke. Don't fall for the head fake. He's not actually standing up to Israel unless and until he cuts off the money and he cuts off the weapons. But as we all know, they have that Epstein blackmail on him, right? And so is he ever going to fully break with them? Guys, bottom line, he's in too deep. He's in too deep. He's in over his head. He doesn't know how to control the situation. Like they said, can't reign in Israel. Can't please our allies because they're getting fucking hammered because of his stupid war. This is a worst case scenario. I'm serious when I say it's probably like a 50% chance that they use nukes at this point. And that's devastating. Like we can be looking at like the end of humanity as we know it and fucking nuclear winter. And again, nobody's moving to him with the 25th Amendment. Nobody's moving to fucking impeach him. I mean, this is beyond catastrophic. I don't think people really understand just how bad this is.
Getting hard and getting turned on are not the same.
Well, that's fun that that's the actual fucking ad that comes right after that. I mean, fucking A. Yeah. I mean, I hope we break with Israel, but I don't see that happening. Our government is too controlled. They're too paid. It's crazy. But you know what? Let's end on a good note. Let's end on a fun note. On something fun. Let's end on. Let's see here. Excuse me. Jesus Christ. That's my son and my wife just losing their shit over there. Just being like, wow, 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 wow. But let's end on this. Let's have some fun. Take it away from all the horribleness that's going on in the world right now. And we're gonna go to. Oh man, which one is it? I was thinking about something right before we got to this. Oh yeah. Well, let's see if they
Yeah.
Do they have horrible or hilariousness? Yes. All right. Let's watch some.
Winter Latina. I'm a winter Latina.
It's the realness that keeps it exciting.
You stop.
So
Go ahead.
We're gonna show them. We get a bank of videos that Christine and I have not seen.
Okay.
And the idea is to decide whether what we see in it is horrible or hilarious. Like, so I have no idea what's in this.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
That's a good one.
That's kind of both.
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. I think if that mask came down, there'd be some missing teeth.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
Or a
they
broken jaw.
landed on like a cement. Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah. That was,
Oh, but they're wearing a mask like a
Oof.
fag, and I hate this. He deserves what he gets. Wearing a mask outside? Get fucked up.
yeah, it's so fucking.
Oh,
Do you know people still do that in LA?
Yes.
You
'cause
go
they're
to LA, you land
traumatized.
at the airport, you're like, what the fuck, did I go back 6 years?
Yes, because they're traumatized.
It's fucking incredible.
It's still that mantra of you're still in danger. We need to protect you. Da 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 da. It's madness. It's very sad.
My friend Jonathan Cogan's got a great joke when he goes, people often ask me, like, what my opinion on trans is. And I'm like, look, it's always the same. It's fine when the Asians do it. You know what I mean? It's like masks.
That's a good joke.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Asians invented that weird shit. Like,
And they
just
invented
be
the mask
weird.
shit.
Yeah, I know.
Do you remember when you're like 15 years ago, you're traveling in an airport, and you're like, the fuck's going on with this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then someone would have to tell you. They're like, oh yeah, but they were doing it like really out of a lot of times like they don't feel well. Right?
consideration.
Just
They're protecting you.
Yeah, protecting you.
Yeah.
I know,
was
and we're
like-
the jerks.
I was like, that's a new concept to me. Like you're protecting the others. That's crazy.
It's real communist mentality.
So un-American.
Oh shit! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, his hip is.
Why
his
did you
hip
get
is
out of the
fucked.
way?
Yeah,
His
I
hip
don't know.
is-
Was he
his hip
backing
is
him
done.
up? Oh, it just starts like.
I mean,
it's-
that dude's hip is completely done.
starts when he's
That's-
already too close. Yeah,
Let's
maybe he's
see.
like, all right, keep coming. Keep coming. You
It's
got
a
another
woman,
inch.
no?
There you go. Maybe a new
Oh,
driver.
that's so funny.
That felt to me like he could literally just step out of the way, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's tiny.
Yeah.
Slender.
He got crushed though. Maybe his hip's not the same. Is that a woman?
I think it's a woman.
Oh, it's a woman. I've misgendered somebody. That is on fucking brand.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Way to
Allegedly.
go.
No, I definitely fucking misgendered somebody.
Allegedly.
Oh, you go.
Nice.
No.
Oh,
No,
don't do this.
no,
Don't do
no.
Bro, you just tripped my fucking tooth.
Oh. That's not funny, dude. That's why I tell my kids not to even fucking pretend with their stupid guns.
Oh yeah.
Play
They
stupid
have
games.
play guns. They just even
Copy
point it
done.
fake at me, and I'm like, don't fucking do that, bro.
There's her original tooth.
Fuck right off.
Fuck.
Holy shit.
Shit. Oh.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you probably shouldn't. You know.
I'd love to be there when her dad sees that.
He's like, how'd that happen?
Fuck, dude.
Well, he put a gun in my mouth.
Yeah.
Empty chamber.
No, he wasn't
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
In a nice way.
Yeah.
We thought it'd be funny.
No.
And now I have to go to the dentist.
And the worst part is, this bitch is gonna have to get veneers now for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Just like I fucking had to, because my chip is identical.
Because you had a gun in your mouth.
Yup, back in 3rd grade, bro. No, I fell off, whatever. I got hit in the face. I don't like it already, I know.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Oh, no! Holy shit! Lay down, baby. Lay down.
Lay down, baby.
Holy
Oh, those are great sounds.
You guys have a weird sense of humor. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Is he okay? You're like, retard, you fell over.
What came out?
Come
Something ran across the road?
A deer?
A deer?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, bro.
Does it?
Watch.
Wow.
Oh, dude, that could happen.
Holy shit!
Shit, that could
All
happen.
right.
That happens with your car out
So it looks
here.
like that one was a 50-50 split.
Right.
Two of us sounded hilarious.
It wasn't. The thing is, it wasn't his fault. Like when people do stupid
Oh,
shit,
right.
but to me, it's just like a bad thing happened to this guy.
A bad, funny thing did happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, okay.
it's partly his fault because he should be wearing leathers.
There you go.
You shouldn't be particularly go on a bike at that speed without
Oh,
leathers.
interesting. It's like wearing shorts in the military, maybe.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah,
Oh.
leathers really protect you from that.
It's
It's
the burn.
something.
You don't get the burn.
The burn.
The burn.
Did
Burn,
you guys
right?
have you
Burn.
guys seen the story of the McDonald's CEO? Did that make it to you?
No.
So they have a new sandwich.
Oh, so here we go. First, holy cow. God, that is a big burger. We've got a very unique kind of sesame poppy sort of bun on it.
Wow.
We've got 2 quarter-pound patties, a delicious Big Arch sauce, and
Nice.
of course some lettuce. So, oh, there's so much going on with this. First of all, let's try to get this thing, I don't even know how to attack it. Got so much to it. Oh, there's also some crispy onions on here as well. I see those
shit.
kind of coming out. All right, the moment of truth.
He doesn't eat that shit ever, dude.
That is so good. That's a big bite for a big arch. It's distinctively McDonald's. Only McDonald's could do this type of burger, but it also is unlike anything else on our menu. It's a delicious product. You know, you've got sort of the cheeses and the gooiness, but those crispy onions as well gives a nice texture. And of course, we've got the pickles. So,
I mean, this dude is so fucking fake. He's so fucking fake. All right, we're not gonna get into that. We'll just skip to the TikToks because these are fun. And this is gonna be the last thing we end on tonight because I just want to.
Holy
fun.
cow.
I've been doing a lot of. Just it's been rough tonight as far as the actual stream. People, you know, it's a lot of politics stuff. But we're gonna hang out and we're just gonna have fun for the last couple minutes. We're just gonna watch some of these crazy ass TikToks. This is for fucking crazy
The
people are
outliers.
doing.
I like to give these people a voice.
Good for you.
Okay. Go ahead, Tom.
It's a nice way of introducing them to it.
Just email me your email saying you want my address, and I will send you anything. Just mail me $1,000 for the hotel idea, $50 for the shirt idea, and I will give it to you.
Are you in?
Is this an OnlyFans promo?
No, we're just on TikTok.
Okay.
This seems like it's
I
a
don't know.
message for one person, but
Yeah.
your reaction, by the way, just so you know, is how you're supposed to react.
Right.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
You're not missing
Yeah,
something.
I feel like I'm missing something here.
Nope.
No, okay.
No.
Nope.
All right.
Okay.
It's just
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Hello, love.
Do you know what?
The marginalized community.
I actually think the internet was a bad idea.
You ever seen a lady shaving a fanny? Come on, Francis. Look at me.
She looks like one of the dinner ladies from school.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's right, Francis.
Oh.
Look over here.
Your
Look at the
dreams have come true,
butterfly.
my friend.
I'm just shaving me
Watching
minge.
people get
Yeah.
fucking just unfortunately
pass,
met
Francis.
with
That would
horrible,
be-
just
Me minge.
horrible circumstances.
So you're in.
Oh dear. Of course.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Just so you both know, Christina put this together.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
me.
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel as though I should justify these fines. For 20 years, my husband has been torturing me with clips of cool guys being like, girl, I want to eat your pussy. Why don't you show them the kind of stuff that you fucking... show them the opener from today. It's so awful. 20 years of this. So now I'm finally...
You're not a real eater if you don't eat the balls, too.
That's the best advice message for grind I've ever seen.
Yeah, great.
Boy, yesterday was my birthday. Oh, my goodness. Had two shorties come over here. They left with wet asses, glue all in their hair. Matter of fact, I think one of them had to go to emergency. Some shit was in her eye. She couldn't get right and shit, man. Left out of here with bloodshot eye, shit all in the hair.
Yeah.
Wet asses.
Yep, we said it already.
I said, next time you come over here, don't think you're going to play with Unky. I'll hammer your ass down.
That's America right there, man.
What a gentleman.
Yeah.
So
I want to tell everybody what I just did, and don't judge me. I let my woman ride my face and waterfall me, and I loved it. Am I wrong for loving the taste of a woman so much? If I am, let me know when you drop David in the comments, and hit that like, share, save. Tastes so good.
So I show her stuff like this to, you know,
20 years. guys.
arouse her.
And now finally...
Did you ever go down on a girl? Well, I did last night.
Oh, that's so fucking gross.
Oh, dude.
Trigonometry is a podcast you can listen to wherever you get podcasts. Don't forget.
Oh, man.
So-
Let's get back to what I have to show you. So finally, TikTok
So this
has
is her
the
payback.
great
Yeah.
equalizer. Now finally, women are having their chance to
Yeah.
express themselves sexually in the same way that men have
Yeah,
done
I think
for-
I'm against that.
By the way, me too.
Well, why don't you see it? First, we got to see.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, I don't like it.
Okay.
I like the music.
The music was cool.
Yeah.
Well, how did that make you feel?
Yeah, turned on.
Yeah.
Super.
Oh, we're done. We're done. That's wild. I can't do it. I can't do it. We're done for the rest of the night. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Oh. Anyway. Well, I love you guys. We're having a short stream tonight, so check in tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. Friday? Sunday. Friday or Sunday. I might be on Friday. Definitely will be on Sunday. Making music on Sunday. Probably making music on Friday. We're doing a thing. Short stream tonight. Sorry. I'm not feeling it. Plus, baby's coming to sleep soon or going to sleep soon. It's a lot going on. Anyway, I love you guys. Make sure to check out the links in the chat, top of the chat. And also, I'll just do it now. The bottom of the chat. We've got a lot going on. I've got a lot of stuff coming out. A lot of people liking stuff that we've been doing. So anyway, love you guys and thank you for stopping in. So bye. It didn't work. It didn't work, guys. It's not doing it. Hold on. Why am I okay?